All right, today I made a mobile home park due diligence checklist. Say that 3 times fast, just kidding. So why I did this is for a one-on-one mobile home park client. I'm training him to get a mobile home park for himself, right? And we found a park, looked good up front, still looks good up front, by the way. And he was going to it today in person. So I was like, all right, look, I'm going to make you a checklist now since we're to that point, because we've been doing, the acquisitions, all the strategies, and talking to sellers, the underwriting, all the stuff. Now we got a park, right? It's under contract, and now it's time to underwrite this thing. All right, so he went there today. I think he spent like 3 hours because I sent him a long checklist. All right, so the first part's getting a good deal on paper. The second part's due diligence. Don't fall in love with a park before you do diligence. All right, just is what it is. The first part's getting the good deal on paper. Stuff changes once you get diligence going. All right, so whenever you start diligence, you want to make sure rents are actually what they say they are, right? Talk to a few tenants, see how they like the place, ask them what they like and what they don't like about the place, ask them what they pay in rent, right? Get rent rolls from the owner. If they don't have rent rolls, get a spreadsheet. If they don't have a spreadsheet, go there individually, write down every single unit, every single spot, whether it's vacant, rented, the shape it's in, walk whatever you can. Note, is there soft spots in floors, if they own the units, or if it's just dirt, great. But a lot of these parks are like mixed, right? So is there utilities? Like, is it city sewer? Do you smell stuff whenever you're walking by these units? Is it septic? Is it city water? These are important because, if you need to put new units in or add units, capacity is a big thing. So ask them, hey, city sewer, city water, do y'all have a bill for your city water? I've already told you, wells, we're going to pass, so I'm not even going to talk about wells. Some people do them, great. I'm not. So I'm not going to talk about it because I don't do them. All right. And say it's septic. When's the last time they were pumped? That's a big deal. I'll tell you what. Today, I had to get septics pumped at a big park we have, and it cost $5,000, right, to pump 2 septics because we have big ass septics, right, at this park. It's an 88 unit park. $5,000, right? And my due diligence when I bought that park was they had to pump them before I'd buy it because I knew they were full. I'd pay $5,000 then, right? So it is what it is. My smaller park, it cost me $2,500 the other day. It's part of doing business. That's why I say that you need some cash to operate. And if you don't have cash, get with somebody that does have cash, partner with them. Anyways, ask them about the septics. How old are they if they're septics? It matters, right? How old are they? You want to make sure you're not having to go replace these septics. Do you have I'm going to talk Texas, right? Do you have a service company that services these? Do you have a contract with a service company that services these? Do you have somebody that does maintenance on them? They maintain them. This one park, it was just their park manager that did the maintenance. I'm like, no, you gotta have a service provider. We need a contract with a service provider, right? So you've got septic, all right? The lines leading up, the drain field in the septic, is all that good, right? And you're gonna hire a company you're gonna go look at everything, but you're gonna hire a septic company to go check it all out. They're gonna tell you what all needs to be done in your diligence, all right? You're gonna put that in your files, all right? Water, right? The water's got to travel through pipes. How's the plumbing, right? How's the pipage where the water travels through? All right, you can have a plumber check all that out. You need to make sure you got good pipes running through this, good water flow. Also, where does the water go when it rains, right? This park that I sent him to earlier, it was in a flood zone. And it just rained a lot. I'm like, great, see where the water stands. He's like, actually, there's really good drainage here. Awesome. Now that we know it's in a flood zone, I want you to get an insurance quote, right? For that flood zone, for that property. Make sure it's not astronomical, because if it doesn't pencil with insurance, it doesn't pencil, right? So you've got water, you've got septic, you've got insurance, all right? You've got the homes. Do they own the homes? Do the tenants own the homes? Do the park own the homes? the homes that the park does own, how does that look? Like, how does maintenance look? What are their maintenance bills like on them every month? Are they older homes? Because if they are, they're going to need more maintenance, right? Is there a way you can sell these off to the tenants and just collect lot rent, even though it seems like less, for less of a headache? And will it pencil if you do that? Meaning, will the numbers make sense? All right? Walk the homes if you're going to buy them, right? Make sure you check those homes out. Know what they're actually worth. What could you sell them for as is right now? You don't want to pay more than that, right? If it's just dirt, it's easier. What about electric, right? You've got these empty pads maybe with some homes around them. Can you just plug in and hook up electric, hook up sewer, hook up water, or do you need extra infrastructure? We have a park. Every time we go to hook up a home, I've got to redo damn meter boxes and panels. And, the infrastructure just sucks, right? We're having to redo it. It's an extra cost. It's probably an extra $6,000 for every 3 to 4 homes, which really adds up when you have 140 units. All right, so you need power. You got electric. You need water. We talked about water. You need sewer. We talked about septic, city sewer. All right, we talked about insuring the place. Also, what kind of debt are you going to get on this? Is it seller financed? Right? Is it going to pencil with what you're bringing in? This particular park was only bringing in $6,000 a month. So I negotiated a $300. He wanted $375. I said, cool. Your price, my terms. $375. Why don't you hold paper for me at 7% interest? He's like, 7.5. I'm like, cool. What about 30-year AM? He's like, 20-year AM. Cool. All right. What about 20-year balloon? 10-year balloon. Cool. That payment's $2,400 a month. It's bringing in $6,000. All right. So expenses are probably 50%. It's probably going to be barely scraping by starting out. But there's infill. There's room for infill, right? So meaning he can add units, So debt, that's huge. All right. And actually walking the roads, driving the roads, walking the roads, there are potholes everywhere. Can people get to their units, easily? Are they having to swerve around the road? Why this matters is you go to put infill units and it's just crappy roads. Who wants to take their car over that every single day? And who wants to live like that, really? I've got a park right now. We had a big ass crater that came up in one of our RV sides, and we're getting quotes for it right now. I'm like, we got to get that filled. People are driving around it. Roads are a big expense. How are the roads? And also look around, less than a mile away. Can you walk to a bus stop? All right, super important. Can you walk to a bus stop? Because think about it. You're living in affordable housing. Maybe you don't have a car, right? Or maybe you don't want to drive your car. Maybe you don't want to spend the gas. Can you walk to a bus stop? Can you walk to a grocery store? At least take the bus to the grocery store. Is there laundry nearby? All right, because you got to wash clothes, right? Maybe you're not going to go buy a washer dryer. Maybe you don't have a washer dryer setup at your park. Is there a laundromat nearby? Are there necessities nearby? Excuse me, for people to actually live. Also demand. Are there jobs in the area? What's the population of that place you're looking at this park? Will people actually come? Do you know how long it takes to fill a vacancy? Is there a park manager you can ask there? You can ask the tenants, hey, do you have people that that would come stay here if there's a unit? In this instance, the park manager told them, we fill stuff within a month. Cool. Completely normal. So you can make a good return that way. All right, so there's demand. All right, you can go to a grocery store. You can get places by bus stop. Are you close to a big city? You can buy podunk, but you need to be close to a big city. I would say within 30 minutes. Because what if you need something else, right? People want to be close to stuff they need. And it's not always in podunk towns. All right, I stick within 30 minutes or less of a metro, right? I think metro is 50,000 people or more, right? All right, so population, proximity to a metro, We talked about utilities. We talked about rents. All right. We've talked about underwriting before all this. All right. So you're actually going to get professionals to come check all this stuff. All right. The electrical, the plumbing, the foundations on whatever, like the units, like, are they tied down? Like, is insurance cool? All this stuff. You're going to need an insurance provider out there. Also, I guess that's, you know what? You need an environmental. You need an environmental. So, meaning a phase 1 environmental study. They'll come out there, you pay them whatever, a couple grand, depending on how big the project is, and they'll let you know if, it environmentally passes, right? And the reason that's important is if it doesn't, then you'll have to pay to have that cleaned up if you ever want to sell it. And there might be like implications if anybody finds out that it doesn't. So you need to get an environmental survey. Do they have a survey? Right? You need to know what part is your actual land, right? What do you actually own? What can you build on? The last thing you want to do is put something somewhere that you don't own. Trust me, I know. I did it back in the day on a piece of land that I bought. But, get their survey, and if they don't have one, get your own survey. All this stuff is super important. I hope it helps. And good luck finding your next park. By the way, I came out with this mobile home park checklist completely free. If you don't want to be listening to this while you're looking for one, all you got to do is comment below. Let me know you want it. All right. Or DM me on Facebook. Or I just made a post on Facebook about, put that you want it, list, whatever, under the post. And you'll get an email with the PDF too. Contact me if you want the checklist. It's pretty in-depth. As you know, everything we just went over here. My podcast is Property Profits Podcast. Thank you so much for listening today. If you want to follow my journey on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, all that stuff, would love it. Until next time, see y'all.